Hi and welcome to another YouTube video. Today I am going to talk about setbacks and building resilience in light of chronic back pain. So firstly, I guess what is a setback? What do I mean by setback? A setback is essentially it's a time in our healing journey. When I say healing journey, I mean mind-body healing in relation to chronic back pain. And a setback is a moment within that journey where your back gets worse. Or you have bad days that make you feel like you're going backwards in your recovery process, for instance. Setbacks can come in many forms. They can come in the form of physical symptoms getting worse than they were previously. Even new physical symptoms and muscular tensions can arise when you're doing this sort of work. Emotions, so you can have days where you're riddled with anxiety, whereas the day before you might have felt pretty chill, or you might just have a frustration or an underlying agitation. You might have a setback which comes in the form of just constantly judging yourself from the moment you open your eyes to the moment you go to bed, so all of these elements, be it a physical setback, an emotional setback, self-hating, self-judging, self-blaming sort of setback, they come in different forms. So I suppose just to mention the importance of being mindful of recognizing these setbacks, is to understand that it's part of the journey, and you have to remind yourself that by doing mind-body work, by attempting to come out of pain, isn't a linear process. So a linear process is something that our brains love to get on board with. We want to go from A to B, and we want that journey to be a nice straight line with no bumps along the way. And often we can get caught up expecting that this sort of process is going to be like that when it's not. That's just the reality. That's just plain reality. And we have to get out of the habit of expecting things to move in a straight line. Mind-body healing is a dynamic process. There are many facets to it that can sometimes feel difficult or complex, or or challenges in ways that we didn't even realize we could challenge ourselves, So there's different aspects to it, and I guess moving on to how to deal with a setback, there's a couple of things just to keep in mind. The first is very much so just reminding yourself that sometimes you're gonna have a shit day. And this is whether you're doing mind-body work or not. I mean, every day is largely not gonna be the same as the day before, just by the nature of being in existence. Shit changes, our moods change, our energy changes. There are fluctuations in our way of being and our existence all the time, and that's just nature, that's just reality. So reminding ourselves that we're part of that nature, we're part of this constantly changing existence and environment, and being humble in that understanding and that knowledge that it's normal for things to feel different on a day-to-day basis, second to that is being mindful of expecting things to happen in a straight line, because we think, oh, I feel better today, so I'm going to feel better again tomorrow, and then I'm going to feel better again, and then it's just going to be like this constantly growing capitalist modeled idea of recovery, healing, development, whatever you want to call it, which is just not true. Again, so back to point one, humble reality. We live in a fluctuating world with dynamic changes taking place all the time, and the journey isn't linear. Yeah, I've started numbering them. So I guess number 3, keep reinforcing yourself of the realities of the mind-body approach, that judging yourself, blaming yourself, catastrophizing, even getting into a panic, like I suppose, don't panic. Even though it can be scary, we can have fears, we can think, oh no, I feel bad again, or my back's flared up today, this healing stuff isn't working, I'm never going to get better. This sort of catastrophizing is really detrimental, and it's quite natural too, because if you suffer from chronic back pain or chronic pain in any way, you have a tendency to put pressure on yourself. So you're likely to say, oh God, I can't do this, or all this stuff that I'm doing, it's not working, what's the point, blah, blah, blah. And it's very easy to give up. It's very easy to say, no, do you know what, this is too difficult. I'm just not getting better, because we think it's going to be a straight line. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's very important. And I guess finally, a few reminders for yourself to build that little bit of resilience, I suppose, is to don't give up. Don't give up. Mind-body healing can be tricky. It can feel like shit, but it doesn't mean it's not going to work. So remember that. Don't give up. Learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust that you can do it, and learn to trust that you have the knowledge to support yourself along the journey. And the knowledge is just reminding yourself all the time about the realities of this work, through books, through websites, through Instagram accounts, whatever it is. Finally, practice knowing that you'll be okay. And it is a practice. If you've spent many years thinking, oh, my back's hurt, I'm fucked, I can't sit down for a long period of time, I don't like going on walks, I can't play my favorite sport, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're basically reinforcing the fact that you're not okay. So we have to remind ourselves and practice over and over again, knowing that you're going to be okay. So try that out. You are going to be okay. Like my black eye, that that will be okay. It didn't feel okay at the time when I got a ball kicked in my face, but after a night of being in pain, the next day I look myself in the mirror and I'm like, no, actually I'm going to be okay. There's no major damage. There's no, I can see completely fine. It's good. It's all good. It's going to be okay, and you can heal. So trust yourself. Constantly remind yourself that you are going to be okay, and trust the process. This process is dynamic, it's wavy. So give it a go. Check out some of my other resources. I have a number of videos a number of blog posts and various articles on this sort of work, which I will put in the description below. Feel free to make a comment. I'm always curious to hear how other people's journeys are going, whether this is helpful, whether you want to know anything in particular. And in the meantime, look after yourself and take care, and hopefully see you back soon.